the Sympathetic Dystonia. As I listened to you talk about it once or twice, over the time frame,
Mhm.
a little light's going off. I have a grandson who like sometimes the two stories I'd heard, his dad was yelling at him and he just crumbled. And he is at the store a couple months ago and nobody was angry at him or he wasn't, whatever the deal was, but he just like passed out and all of his friends are like, what happened to you? But some of the things that you have said made me think,
He
how
blacked
would
out.
you
He
diagnose it?
blacked out, or he just fell to the ground and couldn't get up.
He fell to the ground and he couldn't get up. They did call the paramedics and
Yeah,
they didn't have
that
to do
sounds.
anything for him,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they said, you need
It's
to
not.
check.
It's not life-threatening or anything. It's just like you're at the store and it
Well,
happens. It's horribly inconvenient. It's like it's just a
Yeah,
weird.
it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And at home, he did when he fell or he cracked his head on the thing. So but I've heard these symptoms and it's like, I kind of, how can we diagnose that if that's what it is?
Doctors rarely catch it because it's so low on the list of things to look for.
Right.
I mean, they'd almost like have to see it in action because like even when you describe it, it just sounds like, well, you just maybe fainted or blood pressure dropped, you start going through all the things.
Yeah.
How old is the child?
He just turned 19.
Oh, 19. Okay. So not a child.
No, he's a big
a little
kid.
guy.
Me too.
Yeah. I would give him usually the straight up way to treat that is 2 to 3 drops of anise daily. And it could increase to twice a day if necessary, but usually the one time a day will do it. The other thing, you look for big changes in their handwriting. Like, basically they were writing a particular way, and then as time goes by, it gets like more and more chicken scratch. And like it becomes harder to like, you're doing your letters, and like as you get to the end, it's almost like they just start drooping or dropping, like you don't like write them all out. And it happens over a period of time. You can ask about it. You don't have to. I mean, sometimes people aren't super aware of it. They just think that's their handwriting, but you look for shifts in handwriting as one of the ways of diagnosing it. And then there's they'll be standing there and they'll just drop to a knee, or they'll do this thing where they look like they're dancing and they'll start going like, and then they'll fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened to him the last time, the way it was described.
And it should really fortify that. So it'll take a little while. It's not a quick thing, but you just have to go through and fortify that nerve for a little bit. But daily for a while, and after a bottle or two, he should be just doing maintenance from time to time after that. Sometimes there's a predisposition, sometimes it's because of a traumatic event. Many cases that I've treated, no rhyme or reason, just there. The only time that I could say like, oh, here's a pattern is sometimes after a woman would give birth, they would potentially have that. But even then, it's just a weird little thing that happens. Yeah.
Okay, is this the nerve that's opposite of the vagus nerve?
Not necessarily. It's the whole kind of sympathetic part of the nervous system. Yeah.
And I've noticed you keep talking about this other nerve, but you haven't given it a name. Is there a reason why
it's just called the accelerator nerve? Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Well,
like sometimes they'll call it cardio accelerator nerve, but it's just the accelerator nerve. Like that's the slang way of saying it. It depends on what book you read, what they call it. And
thank you. Another question.
Actually, and it's in Astara. It's very, very brief. There's no real description of it. I think she calls it cardio accelerator nerve, if I remember right.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I think it's in the second degree lesson.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And the